Do you want more success, more growth, more results? Then it's time for the Boundless Success Accelerator from the Modern Observer Group. This isn't your average coaching program. It's where top performers come to dominate. Weekly group sessions, on-demand coaching, a community that's got your back, and a power-packed library of tools to supercharge your business and career. No more excuses, no more waiting. Get in, level up, and start building the life you've been dreaming about. Visit us at modernobserver.com/boundlesssuccess to join today. Let's get you to the next level.
Simple questions for 100 people. Welcome to the experiment. I'm Bill Correll, and this is my investigation. I'm researching to gather data from 100 beautiful human beings for the sole purpose to see what actually happens across the interviews. Now, the questions are fixed, and the interviews will remain consistent between, with the variable being the actual participants themselves and their answers. So it's as if, Taryn, I'm having you come sit on my porch to share your thoughts so I can learn about people. I'm looking forward to what we're going to know or learn after we complete all of these interviews, but no matter what it is, I'm having a ball doing it. So now it's time for us to meet you. What is your full name?
My name is Taryn Shayna Victor.
Tell me that middle name again.
Shayna. So Shayna was just a name that my mother heard and absolutely loved, and so she included Taryn Shayna Victor. So people call me Taryn Shayna, but middle name Taryn Victor, but my middle name is Shayna.
So interesting. I wanted to ask you this, but I guess it's as good a time as any. Yep. You know, props on Shayna. I love that name too. We used to babysit a little girl named Shayna about 40 years ago. She's now the head of a cosmetic company. So, yeah, that name has done really well for her.
Beautiful, nice. I love that.
So, are you named for a Klingon character, or did they steal the name Taryn from somewhere else?
They just love the name. I wish my mom was here so we could have that discussion. But originally, I remember that they watched a show and they wanted Shayna. But then they decided they heard Taryn and they decided Taryn sounded, I think in a way children name themselves when they come into this world. And so it was just right, Taryn Shayna Victor, and it just fitted well. And that's what they chose. My parents chose for me.
It's a wonderful name. Yeah, absolutely. So what's your favorite nickname that most people don't know?
Most people don't know that my closest friends call me Taz. T-A-Z-Z. Taz.
Taz, like a Tasmanian devil?
There we go. And I do have my moments.
Oh, I can see that in you. You look to me like you've got wide bandwidth in terms of what you can bring. Kind of depends on what the moment calls for, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So have you been?
Excuse me?
Have you been to Tasmania?
No, I haven't.
No? Yeah. I want to go one of these days because I understand that it's quite beautiful and that there are, a lot of different kinds of animals and flora and fauna, so that's just me. Tell me a little bit more about Taz. When did you first start getting that?
Taz was in primary school. Also in my family, my mom also just says Taz. Really just like we have there's a car here in South Africa, a very, very old model called Toyota Taz. So I think the association with the name Taryn, automatically there's the name Taz. There's Taryns that I've also known that have been called Taz. People with maybe their names of Tasneem end up being called Taz. So I was called it from primary school in my family, and it kind of just stuck. Although I don't hear it a lot, But every now and again, I get called Taz by somebody who knows me well.
There you go. So, so Taz, when did you first notice what color hair you had?
This is a very interesting question because I've tried to remember as far back as possible. And I realized what color hair I had when I looked at my mom and my dad, and my hair color was the same as theirs. So my hair is dark brown. And when I saw that my hair color when I was young was the same as my mom's and dad's, then that's when I knew that my hair color was dark brown
That's
because it was
really
the same.
roughly how old would you say when you became aware?
I think at the time when I could be aware about anything. So pretty much I would say 5 years, 5 years old.
Yeah. Yep. Interesting. So, what's your favorite thing to do to intentionally waste time?
I don't have one answer to this. So the first thing would be I will scroll on social media to waste time. I use it as a distractive mechanism if I'm stressed or focusing on something too much, and I'll use that. Or I will get up and down and I'll pace. Like I'll literally pace and procrastinate until I get to the task. So I'm a work in progress.
Interesting. So, I'll ask you a different question along the same lines. What percentage of your waking hours do you think you are doing something like that to prepare for the next thing? Because I get when you say you're wasting time, you're actually not. What you're doing is you're revving up and supercharging that brain to get ready to go and get busy.
No, that's true. I love that question because that's a very good differentiation. Um, I don't actually do anything to waste time because I'm always focused on what I need to do next and when I can get it done. I kind of have a bit of a short temperament where if I can get something done, then I'm going to get it done. So I will actually those times that I said where I'll be on social media or pacing, I'm actually using social media to prepare for the next thing, as you just mentioned. Or my pacing will be when I'm getting content or things or puzzle pieces in my head for a brainstorming session or something together. But to waste time, um, I will spend time, for example, in the holiday season doing absolutely nothing and reading a book. But I don't ever intentionally waste time because I know time is a gift.
Hmm. And do you ever just notice that you are wasting time and then go, okay, that's enough of that?
Yeah.
I think
And I
that makes
realized because of overthinking.
yeah. Yeah, you got to let it cool down every once in a while, right?
Absolutely.
So, what's your favorite movie to watch alone?
My favorite movie to watch alone is Enough by Jennifer Lopez.
Yes. And what do you love about that?
Um, the movie for me, it resonates with me because she went through something really horrible, which was abuse, but she took a stand and she fought back for her and her child. And I think that every woman, and it's not just woman, any individual, there comes a point in your life where you take a stand and you stand up for yourself and you do what's right for you. And I just resonate with that. And I can watch that movie over and over again because it's so empowering just with the message.
Does it move you, to happiness and to tears all in the same movie?
Not tears anymore. It's more. It doesn't. Not tears and happiness because obviously I know the ending. For me, it just every time I watch it, it's just a reminder of with the gift of every single day, we have the power of choice, and that we can, we can with God's grace, we and by just be fighting back. I mean, let me summarize it like this: it gives me hope. It's a beautiful story that just gives me hope and that I never tire of hearing because hope is what we need in this world where there is so much happening.
That's great. That's a really powerful message. And I hear what you say when you use the word hope. It's not like magical thinking hope. It's more like positive intentionality hope, that you will be enough. And that's very powerful for people to start off with. That confidence in life that when you set your mind to do something at the beginning, especially when you have no idea what the outcome's going to take, but you take it on anyway and you just kind of like go with it. And and you do finish it because you're that kind of person. That's what I get from you.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So, Taryn, if you were to have an action figure made of you, what superpower would it have and what colors would its uniforms be?
if I had an action figure made of me, and what superpowers it would have, it would be the power to move people, like move around, movement, or stop time. And what else is there? Flying. I would say flying, and the colors would be blue and red because they're two beautiful colors that I love. And yeah, I think that it would be blue and red.
That's really wonderful. So first we'll talk about the colors, then we'll talk about the powers. So what sort of shades or hues of blue and red would you want?
So not very dark red, like going towards that maroon red. No, just a nice red, kind of in the center. And blue, I absolutely love navy blue. It's the color of my brand for my business. It just represents royalty, but not royalty in the ego sense, just kind of elegance, beauty. I also love the midnight sky. So I
Yes.
just love the blue, and I think the two together just complement each other beautifully.
Yes. Are you familiar with the term noblesse oblige?
I know it's the first time I'm hearing it.
It's a French term, and noblesse oblige means that automatically with power comes responsibility.
Wow, that is beautiful.
So having, the notion of noblesse oblige, there are some things that people of royalty cannot turn down.
Wow. Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
So
Beautiful.
that would be the kind of blue that I would imagine that you're talking about.
I like it. Even just saying it just sounds very, very awesome.
You can we could have a whole podcast just talking about noblesse oblige. That's
Oh, we could. That's just like educational. That's going to be an educational podcast right there.
There you go. All right. So, what did you want to grow up to be when you were 5 years old?
I wanted to be a model.
Say some more. What kind of model?
Kind of like a runway model, but not in the lingerie sense, but just a runway model for women's clothes or taking photos for brands and clothes, and that was something I wanted to do when I was a little girl.
Yeah. So, are we talking Coco Chanel, or are we talking Versace, or it doesn't really matter? Just get me on the catwalk.
I think starting out, I would have gone with whoever, but actually building myself up, like building myself up in the industry, to be privileged to model those clothes. That was something that I'd practice at home. I'd like have my struts and walk down the passage and just have the little attitude as I walked. It was fun. I had a crazy imagination when I was a child.
I'm getting a mind picture of you at 5 years old doing that and putting the pout on and looking right and looking left. And
Yes, and the turns and the looks and it was, oh gosh, yes.
good for you. So, what's your greatest accomplishment, Taryn, so far?
So can that question be answered in a professional and a personal sense
This is
capacity?
your time. You answer it any way you like.
Okay, so in a personal capacity, the greatest thing that I accomplished is being baptized. I'm very firm in my faith as a Christian. I love God. So being baptized on the 19th of March 2023, that was my greatest accomplishment. And in the professional sense is that come the beginning of February, I will have my business for 4 years.
Fantastic. We'll talk about the baptism if you're willing. What was your baptismal ceremony like?
It was at my church, and it was beautiful, beautiful baptism pool. And just each one of us went in and got baptized by one of our pastors. It was a time of joy and just a very beautiful and cherishing moment in my life.
Were you wearing a white robe?
No, we wore black pants and a black shirt with beautiful, beautiful writing on it about it.
And how many other people were baptized with you on that day?
Sure, I can't remember the number, but probably about 30 to 40 people, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an assembly line.
It was the most wonderful thing to experience and have others and being the line with others and watch them, and then they watch you and celebrate you. It was incredible.
Did you have butterflies?
I had tears, I had butterflies, I felt God's presence. It
Yeah.
was an all-encompassing moment. My mother was in the distance with friends. They were watching. Just a very, very special moment in my life.
Now, do you consider that this is a born again act for you, or was it a coming of age? Now I'm a Christian, without the whole sense of um, it's an important thing to do in life, but choosing God and choosing Jesus Christ is a different thing altogether.
So for me, it was just the next step in my journey of faith. I was saved in 2019 when I accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And this was just the next step. This was just the next step in my faith. So, yeah.
I love how we language that, that I accepted him. I've been toying with the phrase of I'm asking him to accept me.
I
you know,
think I think I hear where you're coming from, but he's always willing to accept you when you're willing to open up to him. That's what I believe.
I completely agree with you, but I do like to play with language and look at it from different points of view.
Of course, which is what I absolutely admire about you, because you're very open-minded and look
Yeah.
things at different. You're open to seeing things at different points of view, and which is very, very special.
Yes, and by talking about it openly and as candidly as you're willing to, we start to hear what your perspective was, what your experience was. And these are profound things that I don't know that anybody ever asked you these questions before. And if they did, I don't mean to be mundane and redundant, but the point
Absolutely not.
is that I think in the minutia, it is how we really learn not only what other people do and think, but how to love them more dearly.
Yeah, you touched on that exactly. It's about communication and learning about the next person and accepting them for who they are and being open to learning. It's how it's going to make the world a better place. It would help resolve so many things if we just communicated and opened up more.
Absolutely, I appreciate that. And now about your other greatest accomplishment, 4 years in business. Can you tell us what you do, how you got started, what your challenges have been, maybe some of your victories?
Sure. So in COVID, I was working for a marketing PR company that came to an end. And I thought to myself, what it is in January, I was like, what am I going to do? And I had people contacting me in a freelance basis saying, could you help me with this? Could you help me with social media? Could you help me with some content? Could you help me with the strategy? And I thought to myself, you know what? There is something here. I think it's time that I start my own company. And so I started my company, Phoenix Media. A friend said to me, use Phoenix Media because your journey, you are rising from the ashes. You are rising into the person you were meant to become. And so I started Phoenix Media, and I help my clients to build brands that they love and also attract their ideal clients through social media marketing, social media strategy, and content creation.
I like
Challenges, sure. And as an entrepreneur, we face so many challenges. But I think with me is the thing is that I keep going and I keep pushing and persevering, keep networking, meeting people, getting my business out there, just doing everything that I can and having wonderful conversations and collaborations with people. Challenges is what every entrepreneur faces when there are slow months. Obviously, instead of working a 9 to 5, there are some days you work a whole 12-hour day because as a solopreneur, you are putting everything into your business if you don't outsource. But I do believe that those challenges are actually learning curves for me because it's helped me reach this 4-year mark that I'm approaching in February.
That's a big deal. I appreciate it. Being an entrepreneur, I started my business a long time ago, but the first 5 years they always say is the toughest. The first is the worst, but if you can make it 5, you've got a 50% chance to make it to 10.
There we go. I've got 1 year to go.
There you go. So, thank you for that. Now, who is your favorite person to listen to?
My favorite person to listen to, so for me, it goes back to worship music, and that would be Brandon Lake and Elevation Worship. I just find that it's encouraging. I love that music, and it's just what I enjoy listening to and what's on my playlist.
I like it. I like it a lot. Are there any speakers or any orators that come to mind that either followed podcasts or books on tape or speeches in general?
In what? Not in the musical sense. I love listening to, who is that? Joyce Meyer podcasts. In South Africa, I love also listening to Vusi Tembakwayo. He is an entrepreneur. Who is it? Tony Robbins. I love listening to things like that. Anything that is either part of my Christian journey or part of that will help me in some way to grow as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Very clear. You're a focused young lady, and it looks to me like you're more working on being on rails than like covering the countryside, you know? I like it. So please complete this sentence, Taryn. When I grow up, I'd like to
Travel the world.
travel the world. Where would you go first?
Santorini, Greece.
Tell me some more about that. It's very precise.
Yep, that's on top of my bucket list. Second is San Francisco in the States, and then London and Germany. Reason being Santorini's first is the movie Mamma Mia. I fell in love with the cliffs, the beautiful white buildings and the blue roofs and the beautiful ocean. I love nature. I love the ocean. I love the seaside. And every time I watch a movie and I see or somebody says they've been to Athens or they've been to Santorini, my heart just fills with so much love because that's where I definitely want to go. And also in my family, my great-great-grandmother on my mother's side was Greek. So in a way, there's a bit of family heritage in that direction as well.
Santorini, that's great. What are maybe some obscure places that most people wouldn't think of, but you really want to go there?
I think for me, I want to go to all the picturesque places, touristy places. So really, just those that are mentioned. Where else? I'd love to go to Brazil. Um, that's where my first focus is right now.
Where in Brazil?
I guess Rio de Janeiro. Wait.
There you go.
Yeah.
A lot to offer in Rio, in every sense of the word, from the ocean to the mountains to good food to great dancing, great people, beautiful language too.
I don't understand the language much, but you've ticked a whole bunch of boxes there that I'm like, yes, 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 yes.
You know, I call it a higher level Spanish. Portuguese is also a boot language like French and Italian and everything. And I think I spend quite a bit of time in Connecticut with people who are from Brazil. And so beyond obrigado, I don't know a lot more words, but I can get by with a couple things.
Obrigado is thank you.
Yes.
Beautiful.
So what is the most important thing in life to you right now?
The most important thing in life to me right now is my walk with the Lord, and that everything I do draws me closer to Him, and also making sure that I do the best that I can for my mom and I, and just doing the best that I can in my business.
Interesting. Do you have any aspirations vocationally, to possibly be and which faith are you in Christianity?
I am Pentecostal.
Pentecostal. Okay. If you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly, right? I love it. I love it. So can you see yourself ever being a preacher?
I don't see myself being a preacher, but there could be a point down the line where I could maybe play a part in the church in a leadership role and in helping others in some sense. But otherwise, I'd really love to just carry on my walk and just strengthen in the faith and all of that. That right now is my focus.
Yeah, good for you. Now, what would you like to leave in the world after your life is done?
Shoo, 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 shoo. Um, you know what? I think what I would like to leave is that don't waste your life, live authentically. If there's anything that people can take away from my time on this earth is live boldly, live authentically. Don't let judgment of others or society depict how you should live your life. Live free, live abundant, love yourself, love your neighbor, be kind, and just don't waste your time on negativity. Just live your life. Live your life. Don't compare your life to others. Live your life, because at the end of the day, it's you, that it's your life. It's not the next person. So for me, it's just live your life. It's yours. Live it to the fullest, unapologetically. That's what I hope that people will take away from my journey.
I, that's wonderful. There's so much in there. And how will you leave it from a legacy standpoint? Are you going to be writing books? Are you going to be doing uh, public speaking and engaging people from that standpoint? Do you have a plan for what you're going to leave behind?
So really I think we impact every single person we speak to. We impact them in a way.
Yeah.
A person, the time that you spend with someone is already an impact that you're making and that you'll leave a lasting memory. But in that type of sense, I think for me, just building a wonderful business, being the best daughter, friend that I can be to those closest to me. And to answer your question in a more broader sense, I'm definitely diving into writing books. I'm definitely diving into poetry. So in that sense, I definitely do hope to leave a legacy.
Good for you. Yeah. Publishing has a way of um, being durable. However, it's also important for people to read it. So you have to get out from among
Yep.
all of the other noise that's out there to be heard. So
So true.
I don't know. First of all, let's tell people where you're from.
I am from Johannesburg, South Africa.
Yes. So from a custom standpoint, do you have bakeries over there that you go to?
Excuse me, do I have?
Bakeries, place where they bake bread and cupcakes and cakes and all that sort of thing, donuts, what
Yes.
have you. Well, I
Yes.
have a really good baker here, and for years, anytime I go in and buy a dozen of something, when we just completed your 12th question, I get a free one. So here's your baker's question. What is the yeah, there you go. Exactly. Look what you won. Okay. What is the thing that most people misunderstand about you?
Uh, this is a very nice question. What is the one thing that people misunderstand about me? Would be that they mistaken my silence for weakness.
Bad idea, right?
Very bad idea. I keep quiet because I believe in turning the other cheek, and there's time to respond and there's time to walk away. But my silence doesn't mean I'm weak. My silence just means that I value my time and I'm not going to waste my time and energy on matters that are not important to me. And I just prefer to being focused on where my focus is and spend time with those who matter. So my silence is not a weakness, it is a strength, but it can be misunderstood as a weakness.
I like that. And it sounds to me like you put some thought into this and you're perfectly okay with people thinking you're weak rather than taking minutes of your time that you will never get back.
Absolutely. I believe in the theory called the let them theory. So let them think what they want. It's really what they think of me has got nothing to do with me. I wish them well, but it's got nothing to do with me. It's my silence, it's my time, it's my voice, and those who appreciate it will hear it. And my silence is a strength. It's not a weakness. So I let them be. I let them think what they want to think. If that's their choice to think that my silence is a weakness, that's okay. That's okay.
I have a feeling you'll be good with whatever happens and go from there.
I believe in controlling what you can, and what you can't control, just let it go. So yeah, that's one misconception. Where is my English today? That's one misconception that people have of me, is that my silence is a weakness, but it's actually my strength.
Excellent. I love it. So that completes our questions. Do you have any questions of me?
I do. My question to you is, what is these beautiful interviews for?
So this is interesting. So we'll kind of get into it from a 30,000 foot perspective. However, whenever I see authority controlling the behavior of individual human beings, especially ones they can't even see or interact with, it breaks my heart, because I think that we're best when we are just who we are and we're not living into somebody else's view of what identity is. So that's the 30,000 foot overarching premise. About 4 years ago, we started my other podcast, which is Lighting the Candle, A World That Works. And I did that kind of in a response to people not playing nicely with each other when our West Coast cities in Oregon and Washington were on fire, and Minneapolis. And it just didn't make any sense to me. And they were really focusing on um, individual things that were going on and allowing people to go crazy while saying that the right way to be is this or that. So I wanted to do a little test, a little experiment, and find out what people are really like, and whether or not they really do, either accidentally or intentionally or some other way, fall into these like groove categories that if you are this, then these are the things that matter to you. I'm not done yet, but so far I've found that that's pretty much what my grandmother used to call hogwash. And I have a premise about life that if people are left to their own intentions and encouraged, they will amaze you. They will delight and amaze you. So that's what I'm really interested in, is not only having this opportunity. In the beginning, it was really to find out, are people really, does their identity have anything to do at all with what they're really like? And what I'm finding so far is that there's another byproduct to that, which is in many cases, people hearing themselves answer these questions, something wakes up for them as well while they're doing this. And I can see it on your face and everyone's face that I've interviewed so far. Great question.
Thank you so much for sharing that and for answering it. Whether you chose to or not, I would have respected it either way.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for that, because what is coming through is I'm getting a kind heart, a mind that just wants to communicate and wants peace and love and joy in the world, where we all live in harmony authentically. And I just want to say thank you for doing that. Thank you for opening your heart and sharing these spaces with me and people all over the world, and just saying, let's be open to one another and learn, because we can learn so much from one another.
I completely agree. And there's one more aspect to it, and that is I consider myself an undauntable champion for the possibility of all human beings.
And that's undeniably you are doing.
All right, great. Any other messages that you want to leave to our listeners? Because you've been absolutely fantastic, Taryn.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. And just to everyone watching this podcast, please subscribe. And just remember to live your authentic self, and don't let anyone step on your toes. This is your life, your world. Go ahead and live it. And thank you for taking the time for listening to this amazing podcast and the amazing episodes to come.
Yes, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are Simple Questions for 100 People. I'm Bill Correll, and I'm going to leave you with this ask. We are heading into the high holiday period in most countries, and this time of year can be very daunting for some people. So please do me a favor, do yourself a favor. Reach out to someone in your life by email, text, letter, card, and just let them know that your world works because they are in it. and that if they ever need you in any dark moment, that you'll be there for them. Thank you so much. And thank you, Miss Taryn. It's been delightful.
Thank you so much, and happy holidays to you and everybody listening.
Thank you. Right back at you. Bye for now, y'all.
You've been listening to Simple Questions for 100 People, part of the Xvadio Podcast Network. You can catch every episode of Simple Questions, plus the rest of the network, at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and wherever you find podcasts.